Yeah, we're ready.
We're ready.
We have a clock, like the day after.
Right for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
How you doing? Roll call.
Ryan?
Here.
Bill? Here. Bob?
Here.
Jake?
Yep.
Jason?
Yep.
Mayor?
Here.
And Joe is not here because he had surgery yesterday, which went well, by the way.
Good.
All right. Need an approval of last month's minutes.
I have a question on the last one's minutes.
Let's hear it.
When I read them, the ones you sent out, the comment that I had made in there about not having to attend the workshop was not in the minutes.
Okay, I will throw it in. Thank you for noticing.
Put it back, because I did bring that up.
Sure. Yep, I will adjust it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, we have a motion and a second motion. All in favor? Now, after it's fixed, I guess.
Yeah.
Opposed? Okay. Tonight's agenda. We reviewed tonight's agenda and the changes, I think.
Yeah, I have to put correspondence in there.
Okay.
Last minute, I got a call today, so I have to throw that in there for a building.
That'd be under correspondence.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also gonna do an update under old business for parks. I don't know if that has to be in there or not. And that's for, whatchamacallit, the baseball.
Okay. There's a couple people here.
Nothing else, I'll make a motion to accept it.
Okay.
I do have to add one more thing too. Scott McGee was unable to make it. He messaged me on my way up here and he gave me some things to pass on. So I'll do
You're
under
gonna speak on
under
behalf of
parks.
Scott.
I'll speak on behalf of Scott.
Okay. And Bill made a motion. It's second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Officer reports.
Police calls, we had 31 incidents. They are all closed and cleared. In our general fund, we have $593,910.53. In bills total, we spent $4,359.83. On wages, we spent $11,004.08. The liquid fuel balance is $102,911.59. The Pliget investment account, we have $4,017.30. Capital purchase fund, $1,798.98. And the emergency management fund, we have $12,584.38.
Okay. Thank you. We need to approve that. Okay.
It says approval of officer reports.
Yeah, but I don't think we.
I'll make a motion.
Just do it.
All right, just in case. We have a second. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. Correspondence.
So the last minute one that I got today was for the building that the fire department used to use for, what did they use it for?
Training building up top?
Yeah, the training building. They are requesting a letter, not the fire department, the owner of the building, is requesting a letter for us to tear it down and give them permission to tear it down.
They're looking for a demolition permit.
Well, they want permission, and
Yep.
then they're gonna.
Then they'll
go
apply
ahead.
for
Their
it.
property, I don't know, we cannot give them permission.
Well, I guess they had something,
I would think they would be looking for a demolition permit.
they had an agreement at one point with the borough or the fire
Fire
department.
department.
And she said, now we're gonna need something in writing saying that they go ahead and tear it down now.
Their own property.
Well, I think that all the borough can do, I'm not 100% sure on this, is say that from the borough standpoint, we have no objection
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They
to
could go ahead.
removing the building.
go ahead and tear it down.
Is that a letter you're gonna send?
Everybody good with that?
And then, they'll need a permit. We should probably have to give them a permit for that.
Yeah, I don't know if we have to have permits or not.
We do.
Yeah.
Okay?
And then I got two, the second letter of intent, which is not on here, I received at about 5:45, so I got it very last minute today. But I got two letters of intent here to fill the 2 empty seats on council. The first one says, West Mayfield Council, this letter is to express my interest in filling the vacant seat on West Mayfield Borough Council. I have been a part of this community for some time, and I would like to help in the progress to make West Mayfield a really nice place to live. If I am fortunate enough to be selected, I will serve to the best of my abilities, and I will put the citizens of West Mayfield before any party affiliations. I feel that I would be an asset to council, and I hope that you will consider me for the vacant seat. Sincerely, Candace France. And the second one I received says, Dear members of West Mayfield Borough Council, I am writing to formally express my interest in being considered for appointment to the vacant council seat. As a current member of the Citizens Advisory Committee, I have developed a deep respect for the responsibilities and challenges facing our borough. I believe I would bring a strong sense of commitment, integrity, and work ethic to the role. While I am new to this level of municipal service, I am confident that my professional background running operations for a managed service provider has equipped me with the organizational, analytical, and decision-making skills needed to contribute meaningful to council discussions and initiatives. I understand the importance of approaching issues with a non-biased, community-first mindset and am fully committed to serving all residents of West Mayfield with fairness and transparency. Most importantly, I care deeply about the future of our borough and would consider it a privilege to play a more active role in its continued development and success. Thank you for your consideration. I would welcome the opportunity to speak with you further and am available at your convenience. Justin Wittrick.
Well, they both sound good.
Oh, last name?
Wittrick, am I pronouncing that correct, Kevin? Wittrick?
Wicchryk.
We're okay to let, what do we have to do at this point? We can vote them in right now, right? We brought this up at
That's how
last
we did it.
meeting.
That's how we did it with
I
Brian.
think we were,
Last meeting, we talked about moving the meeting, but they didn't get the letter of intent in until this meeting, so. I don't see why, yeah.
I think we were supposed to only
Why we
have,
can't vote them in. These are the two, I'm assuming they're gonna need the Wednesday meeting. They can't do Thursday.
yes.
So
And we decided last month that if we get the letters, then we would go ahead and change the meeting date.
I think we'll redo that anyhow this night.
What's that?
I think we should probably redo that motion tonight.
Yeah, because we were supposed to only have so much time to fill these seats, right?
30 days.
Supposed to do it within 30 days. If you get anybody, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, okay, so what do we need to do here? We need a motion to accept the two,
Does anybody have any objection to it? I guess would be the first.
well, we have to do a roll call, right?
Well, once you do a vote, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll make the motion to
It's on
accept
the
those.
agenda. You gotta give citizens a chance to speak on these. It's on the agenda under new business for you. The vote to fill the vacancies.
Was that on the agenda? Oh,
It's on
okay.
there.
We have to wait till
Then we'll bring it
then?
up under new business.
We'll bring it up under new business.
Yeah, you have to give citizens a chance to speak if they wanna speak for
Okay.
or against
Gotcha,
these candidates.
gotcha. We'll do, yeah.
And then the only other thing I have under correspondence, which Bill just gave me, was two classes for PennDOT and LTAP training courses. So if anybody's interested in taking those, the information.
Yeah, one's for drainage, and the other one was, I can't remember what it was for, calming devices, traffic calming device, I think.
So if anybody wants any information, I have that here for those classes.
Yeah, and they're during the week, so that lets me out.
That's all I have.
Okay, what do these do? What, does that take, is that part of me, my job, or not?
It's for anybody. They'll talk about how to handle drainage to help the roads last better, and they'll talk about how to do calming devices for streets, like we put the speed hump in up there.
Okay,
That's what it is.
okay.
All right, thank you. Zoning officer. Tina, are you zoning or
Oh, yeah,
code? I'm code.
yeah.
Okay.
TC.
Just, basically just wanted to say that the weather hopefully is gonna like calm down with all the rain, so we were letting people kind of slide, cause some of the rain was a little too much, you know, for some people to try to get caught up with their lives. But as of next week, hopefully this weekend will be nice that people can get caught up, otherwise we're gonna be knocking on doors, you know, and letting people know that there's ordinances and everybody has to follow them because we all live here, you know, so. That's about it.
Thanks. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of calls about grass. So,
Can't miss them.
You got 2 or 3 of them.
so, and basically what we were saying is, give them till the weekend. It's
Yeah.
gonna be nice. A lot of people work during the day, and at night, you know, you can't get to it. So give them the weekend. Once the weekend's over, we're gonna start hanging tags on doors.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a nice weekend for a change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Emergency management. He's not here.
Eli wasn't able to come here because he had to work tonight. He didn't really say he had a whole lot.
He said he didn't have anything.
Well, do you have your ISO 100, 700? I'm sure you do. Can you get us a copy for that?
Yeah. I should be able to get it.
Anybody else here that doesn't have it done, please get it done. That's it.
Bill,
What?
I did the 100 and I got nothing sent to me. So I got half of it done.
If you go back and log into it, you should be able to pull up our certificate.
It should come to your email somewhere.
Okay.
If you have any issues, reach out to Eli, he'll walk you through it. He had to walk me through it, cause that's a kind of a difficult thing to go
It
through.
is. Every time I go in,
Hard to
I have
find
to
it.
get new credentials, new everything to get back in. That's every time. Okay, okay.
No, your IP at your login and that should all stay the same.
Oh, well, you know what? Okay. I'll try again, but half of it's done. Okay.
Okay, you might have to update your password if you don't keep it updated, but your address should be the same.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. That's it for emergency. Chief Johnson. Anything?
Nothing additional, just anybody had inquired about the call log that was brought up by Janet as far as concerns about Patterson Avenue. That question was answered.
Well, that's that email you sent us.
Okay. Secretary Treasurer report.
Couple things I have, we need a new copier printer in the office. Got a couple of different ones sent to me by Bauman's. Jason and I just spoke and we believe the best one, it's $249. We need it. Eli was back there and couldn't get it working himself, so I need
Okay.
approval.
That's the
to-
new one, that's the one that's on the desk.
Yeah, we're gonna get rid of everything that's back there and get one that does everything. So as long as everybody gives me approval to do that, so it's $249.
Yeah, we have it in the budget.
Yeah.
We
Oh, yeah.
budget for all
We
We
that.
have plenty,
Okay.
so we're good with
Spend
that.
that money?
Yeah.
Do we need to make a motion to spend the money?
Well, it's over 100, but she has money in that.
Okay. Staff?
Yeah, we're fine.
Because I know there's $100 for committee, but other than that, I thought it went through motions.
You want to make a motion just to please
Yeah, we can
everybody?
do that.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, buy a printer.
Second thing is the investment opportunity from the bank. I went there today, or earlier this weekend today, and the manager approached me regarding the amount of money we have in our general fund, or our general
You
account.
talking about First National? What we use, good.
Yes, yeah, First National, sorry. And he approached me about opening a money market account with even just $50,000, $100,000. We could get between 5 and I think he said between 5 and 10% interest, which I think would be really good for us.
I think
just
so,
wanted-
because we always have it in there. it
Yeah,
seems like.
since January, we haven't had a balance under 400,000 in that account. So just to let it sit there and only get the basic interest seems a little silly when you could get more. I can get, he just mentioned it to me in passing, so I can get more concrete stuff if everybody was interested in learning more about
I think
it.
it's a
I
great
think
idea.
that's a real good idea.
The only question I have, is there any penalty should some emergency come up and we need to dip in and say, hey, we need to get some money out to buy to replace a truck or something like that?
There is, it's not much. when I worked for First National for years. When I worked there, it was only a couple $100s if you needed to pull it. Of course, there is a fee involved, you know, because you're set for a time, but you can pull it early.
And you lose out on that yearly
You lose out on
interest.
the yearly interest.
So you get
Well,
your.
yeah, you lose the interest, I understand that, but I
Yeah,
know how
there-
much penalty they charge you for pulling it out.
When I worked
Hopefully we
there-
don't need to do it, but I'm just.
Yeah, when I worked there, it
asking
was only a couple $100 depending on how much you had in. So I can get more concrete he just mentioned it to me in passing. I wanted to bring it up before I wasted his time pulling all the information.
Is that like 6 months or a year?
You
or
can,
how's
there's
it-
different options.
that's
Yeah.
what I figured.
So I can get that all ready for next meeting if everybody's interested in at least hearing
I
about
think
it
so.
more.
I think that'd be good.
I think it would be great.
See what the, I would see what the max we can put in and what we can afford to put in too.
Yep.
That's figure them in.
Back in and how much?
Okay. Everybody's good with me looking into that
Yep.
more then? Perfect.
Absolutely.
Last thing I have is, as everyone knows, I recently took over parks to kind of help and alleviate for everyone. When I went down there, I talked to Nora about this, and the bathrooms are just, they need updated. I don't know when the last time they were done, but the toilet paper holders are falling off the walls. It just needs kind of refreshed with the soap, the toilet paper, the paper towels. And I know Nora's gonna bring this up as well. They're gonna offer to paint. The volunteers will offer to paint the bathrooms. So I did all the research to get the paper towel dispensers, soap dispensers, the soap, paper towels, toilet paper, and toilet paper dispensers. It'll be $221 to update all of the bathrooms. So I just wanted to, that would obviously come out of Parks and Rec. As long as everyone was good with that,
Yeah.
we could do that as well.
Do the stupid question, does paper towel and toilet paper dispensers have locks on them?
Yes,
Like little key? Okay.
yes.
They're
they
the
do.
commercial
They're
style.
commercial,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, they're commercial.
Did we ever get in control of the locks of the restroom period? Because there was, I remember for the last
Yes.
couple of years,
Yeah.
there've been complaints
That
about
was
people
all
getting in that
changed.
weren't supposed to be getting in.
Brian has a set. She has a set. I don't think I ever got a set.
I have a spare set.
Doesn't really matter.
As long as we have control
Yeah,
of it.
we
There were too
do.
many people.
No, it's
Supposedly
just
had
me,
keys.
me and Brian are the only people with keys. So,
Good, good.
as long as everybody's good with that, can we
Yep.
make a
Yep.
motion for that as well? For
I'll make the
Good
motion. I'll second it.
That's right.
I'll third it.
Yeah.
All in
We got three.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Let's update the bathrooms.
Yep, it's necessary. Thank you. That's all I got.
Okay, need a motion to go to citizens. Do we have citizens tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what if you
Oh, we needed it, Bill. It wouldn't be the same without it.
I make a motion to go to citizens.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Let's go to citizens. Who's first?
Okay, the first one is BJ,
E.J. Thompson Company.
Thompson Company.
Yeah,
He is our
insurance agent.
insurance man. He's the first one. Okay.
Want me to go?
Yeah, because you're first on the list.
All right, I have insurance coming up for the borough on August the 1st. This is a schedule of things that you have insured. I'm going to go down and you'll tell me if I should make changes. I have given a copy of it to Jenna. So she
Okay.
has the same thing that I have. All right, I have this, comes up August 1st. I have on the buildings, I have replacement costs, new for old. There's no co-insurance. There's a $250 deductible. I have $974,000 of blanket coverage. And then there's a covered bridge that isn't on the blanket, it's just actual cash value. And that bridge is $14,171. So I have this location. Are there any changes here from last year?
So
Everything's
that's
the
just,
same?
that's the whole park. Or
What
am I
building is
looking
it?
It's
at?
4609 West 8th, that's this
the building.
location,
That's this building.
yeah.
And the bridge is on this one. Or
The
bridges.
bridge is,
Bridge is
no,
on
it's
Park.
Borough Park.
Okay.
Second page.
974 for,
What about the parking lot behind the fire department?
that's not on this. Is it?
No.
Should be,
What are you talking about?
So we regained control of the parking lot that's behind the fire department.
Okay,
I don't believe that's currently insured through the borough. I think that the fire department had that. It did
is
not.
there a structure at
There's
the?
no
No
structure.
structure.
Well,
It's just
then if
land.
you maintain control of it, and then there's a lawsuit out of it, because there's no buildings there, there's a $10 million limit of liability
Okay.
for lawsuits
Okay,
against
so we're
you.
covered.
So
But
we're
there's
covered.
no well, for that, yeah, for liability.
Yep.
So we're good there.
Good.
All right. Then, so everything is okay at this location, right?
Yeah.
No
Okay.
changes.
There's no changes.
All right. Then the Borough Park at Patterson Avenue, the covered bridge is on listed there. And then, is there any changes at that location that you made since last year?
So the only change that there is there was batting cages installed there. But
Switch, there was ones there before.
there, I don't know if that ever got added though. That was years ago.
I don't know.
All right. So you have batting cage that I don't have that.
Yes,
So you want me to add that?
that'll have to be added. I do believe they said they spent $20,000 on building that too.
Okay.
Did you have a pickleball on there?
Yeah.
Huh?
No.
Pickleball court.
So add 20,000 for the
Batting cage.
batting cages. And
then
then we
pickleball?
also, last year, we put in the pickleball
You
court,
and everybody else.
right? That
that
fence was,
But that was just a fence, pretty much.
yeah, it's really, it's
Yeah.
just a fence.
Because we had a basketball
around
court
it.
there to begin with.
All right. And a net. There'd be a net there too, right?
Well,
Yeah.
we bring our
Not
own
yet.
nets.
Okay. Then I don't have to do anything.
Okay.
And then after that location, there's a bronze monument,
Correct.
outdoor property. So we have that. Great? We're
Yes.
good there. So now I'm done with the structures in the building. And I'm gonna go to scheduled property. I have electronic data processing. I have 3,300 for, you have an IBM computer. I skipped the name. I don't care about the name. I just care about that you have a computer. So I'm taking IBM off. And then I'm taking this laser printer thing off. And I'm just, it's 3,300. It's a computer and a printer, right? So that's how we're gonna deal with that.
Just leave the computer and printer.
Yeah, and I don't want names or anything, because we're at
Everyone's got
computers
the
and printers,
equipment.
not
Oh, we got
different
our
names.
That's what I said, does that include her new one?
laptop.
You
Yeah,
got her a laptop?
Yeah.
yeah, I've got it on here. I just don't have any names and I don't want names.
Okay.
Okay.
I have extra expense, $1,000, that's just a throw-in. I have another item called miscellaneous tools and equipment, spare parts and tires, road signs, signposts not erected, pipe not installed, nothing valued over 2,500, totals 11,000. So this is all your small equipment, tools and
I think
equipment.
it's fair to keep that.
And it doesn't make any difference where it is, you own it, it's covered. Then I have an item called leased or rented equipment. If you ever lease or rent equipment from anybody and you damage the machine, we'll pay for machines valued up to 250,000. So if you go out to rent something and they ask you to buy the insurance, you don't, you already have it.
Cover.
Okay.
Then I have miscellaneous fire equipment on here. I have a rehab 10 by 20 tent top generator. You got that?
No.
No, that's gone. Fire department has that.
Okay. Then I have road machines, not trucks. I have taken off a 1974 Ford tractor. That went off last year. I have a Skag mower. You got that?
Yes.
I have a 1988 Massey Ferguson mower.
No. Massey Ferguson's gone.
Okay, that is off. I have a Tarco leaf machine.
Yes.
I have a Bobcat skid steer with attachments.
Yes.
I have a Skag zero turn mower.
Yes.
I have attachments for the Bobcat skid steer loader.
That's 2 times you have
Twice,
that.
you have it on
Yeah,
there.
that's what I'm saying.
This is
I know,
the
it's listed separately.
attachments.
I am just gonna make it one big item. So it doesn't come up like this next year. So it's gonna be this, the the Bobcat skid steer and all the attachments.
What do you have that listed for, value-wise?
I have Bobcat 11,000, the attachments 16,000.
No, Bobcat's gotta be 50,000.
All right,
Replacement, yeah.
And what do we got for, attachments?
16,000.
Make that 25.
Okay, and I'm gonna add them all together. So it's gonna be Bobcat with attachments, and it'll be 75,000,
Okay.
all right?
Yeah, we could never get a replacement for what we have it insured for.
Well, the coverage is actual cash value, it's not replacement cost. So you get what it's worth at the time of the loss.
What do you think
Oh.
that Bobcat's worth? It's gotta be 20,000.
Well, with all the attachments?
No,
No,
with the, yeah,
attachments
do
are
it with the
separate.
attachments, yeah, sure.
Oh, my. More than that.
30, 35? Do 35,000
With-
total.
Okay, not a problem.
With the attachments.
Yes, with the attachments.
Total.
All total. Total 35. Gotcha.
Pretty much where
And we can't, yeah, never mind, that was a dumb question. Continue.
I have a 2008 JCP backhoe, and that's 44,000.
Yes.
That's all I have for that schedule. The next thing I have is physical damage on automobiles. I have a 2006 GMC dump, so
Yes.
that, now these auto items have a $100 deductible on comprehensive and $250 on collision. I'm gonna bump them to 500, 500. The prices of this stuff, insurance is going up. This will tamp it down. Is that okay?
Yep.
I have a 2018 Ford dump,
Yes.
F550. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fire vehicles.
Negative, they're all gone.
Okay. I have a 2004 GMC pickup.
Yes.
I have a 2019 Interstate Cargo Trailer.
Yes.
And I have a 2020 Vermeer wood chipper.
Yes.
That's all the items you own, that's all the items I have. So those fire trucks will
That's
come
for
off.
emergency management.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right. Workers' comp doesn't come up until the following month. You'll be getting an email from Linda McGinty in our office. She'll say that this is last year's final workers' comp audit. If you want to make changes going forward. Is the fire company off now?
Off.
All right, so
as of the first of the year, we're not paying up until now, correct?
well, I don't know what, I'm gonna just go over it in a second. I wanna get this off. Right that it's off. Okay. Has anyone written to us saying that the fire company should come off?
I believe,
I think so.
I believe I
Okay,
did,
all right,
yeah.
I just wanna make sure. Because we then send a letter to the rate bureau in Philadelphia, and they take like 6 months.
Yeah, I was
to
gonna say, I think I
figure
sent
it
it
out.
January like the day after the meeting, I
All right,
emailed it.
so we still have a couple of months for them to actually take it off the policy. Just takes them a while, because they have to come out and make sure it's actually off. And instead of you guys just saying it's off, it is off. And so they do an inspection. So I will talk to Janet to see if everything is over there
Okay.
from the rate bureau. That is it for this. And you'll get an email asking you what changes. The fire company, according to me, was off. I'm gonna talk to Janet. Actually, she's my daughter, and she's watching my wife tonight, so I'm gonna call her on after I leave here, make sure it's all taken care of.
Okay, thank you.
Here is your pricing. I'm gonna do the perma liability app, and all I'll need is a copy of a budget. So can you send a current budget to Janet?
Yep.
All right, so I'll take care of that paperwork. So the pricing is as follows. I don't know what permit's gonna be because you just removed all those fire trucks off the liability. So Janet will send you new pricing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Workers'
that should have
comp,
been all removed for the first of the year.
Yeah, that's why he said it takes a while to come out.
Yeah.
oh no, I still have them listed here on the liability. I'll talk to Janet tonight.
Okay.
And make sure everything is off. And the property, this is all gonna need to be completely redone for next year, the pricing. So I'll have Janet do that and send you what it is, okay? You won't see me next year. I'm retiring on the 30th of June.
Congratulations.
Happy
good luck.
retirement.
55 years and 3 months, doing the same exact job.
Ooh.
I don't think anybody else could ever say that.
Now she's gonna take over for you?
No, I'm training 3 people. Janice is she's inside, she's an account manager. I'm
Okay.
training 3
Me,
people,
myself, and I.
and I don't know if, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You guys take care.
Thank
Be
you.
safe traveling.
Who's next? I'm taking a break.
Mayor, who's next?
Who's next?
Oh, we have a guest speaker. Mr. Newsom,
Okay,
you're
great.
next.
Awesome.
George from the DCED.
Yeah, pass these. This is for each one of you guys. And you guys want a card?
Yeah, we all got a card, I think, that's at this table.
Yeah. You got the cards too. Thank you. Well, good evening, everybody. So, my name is George Newsom. I'm from, within the Governor's Center for Local Government Services is the Department of Community and Economic Development, also known as DCD. And I am a local government policy specialist for the Department of Community and Economic Development. I cover 9 counties, lower left-hand corner of the state. Armstrong, Allegheny, Beaver, Butler, Fayette, Greene, Indiana, Westmoreland, and Washington. I think I got it all. I also think this is the best looking part of the state as well. So what I do is I partner with boroughs, municipalities, cities, townships, whatever, and travel through all these counties. And we try to provide tools to local governments. I'm not a watchdog for the state, so I don't have any punitive authority to try to catch you doing anything wrong. That's not my role at all. But we, like I said, we try to provide you tools to try to help you in any variety of ways. There are policy specialists who are planners. If you want to do zoning or a comprehensive plan or fix a road or a bridge, there are policy specialists who help on that side. There are policy specialists who do emergency medical services, so police, ambulance, and fire. Those kind of, they do police studies, fire studies, those kind of things. One of the things that's happening across the state are mergers and regionalizations of police departments and fire departments and those kind of things to help with response times, better response times, and the fact that it's getting harder and harder to provide public safety for communities. There's some communities who have such a hard time providing public safety that there are certain times throughout the day that they have no coverage at all. We know the state police also is helping in some areas to provide public safety for communities as well. So I'm somewhere in the middle of those two policy specialists. My main function is to provide tools to help you towards financial solvency, sustainability, government capacities, and all those kind of good things. I'm kind of a numbers nerd. So numbers tell the story, I think, and so I look into numbers. We do manage a grant as well, but there's other tools we can help as well. If you would need any kind of peer assistance, we have a technical program with peers that we provide you with professional consultants who will come in, and they can. It's free to you. First of all, that's a good thing. It's free to you. But they can provide technical assistance for administrative situations. If you need some financial assistance with whatever, you guys don't have this situation, but you may have heard a situation like a borough, township, or city had a financial secretary, and they got mad. They left, and somebody else came in, and all the drawers were empty. And the office was a complete mess, and somebody was left to try to pick it up, and nobody knew where anything was. So in those kind of situations, we get called in, and we can provide technical assistance to try to rectify that situation as well. And like I said, that's a free service to the community. Also, there's a grant that I manage, and it's called the STAMP grant. So the first handout that's in your folder is an acronym cheat sheet. That's kind of a little fun document. When I first started working with local government, everybody talked in acronyms. I didn't know what anybody was talking about. So I made an acronym cheat sheet, so at least you guys know what folks are talking about. And there's probably 100 to 200 more acronyms that the government uses that are in addition to the ones on that sheet. But for the purposes of your dealings with me, I don't have any more than what's on that sheet. So, and in all matters dealing with your community and the state, I'm your liaison. I do make my way around, believe it or not, to all my counties, and I sit in on council meetings. Every now and then, I just kind of sit in the back to see what's going on. I like to say that I'm professionally Nebby, so I like to see what's going on in the counties, in the regions that I try to partner with and see what's going on. In fact, I was in Rochester last month, where I met Kevin and Susan. Okay, and they were there. So that's kind of what brought me here tonight. But the Strategic Management Planning Grant is the other handout that you have. The acronym is STAMP grant. It's number 53, the acronym cheat sheet. So I think you guys want a folder?
That's okay.
Okay, you good? Okay, all right. So what it does is it takes a deep dive into the history of your operations management and your finances, kind of a roadmap of where you've been, where you are, and gives you a 5-year projection of where you could be. We would, you would hire a consultant that we would help you choose. And they would come in and they would spend some time with all you guys, talking about your history. And the thing I like to say about it is to me, that's the fun part of my job. Because what you're really doing is you're putting your vision on paper. You're actually putting your vision down on paper, and we get to help you make it come to fruition, with some dollars, real dollars and cents. I think that's the real fun part of the job that I get out of this job. There's different phases that happens with it. There's different paperwork that you have to do. I'm here to walk you through that whole process. I will say 2 things. One reason why grants typically fail or will fail is because there's no point of contact person between the state and the community. So you have to identify a point of contact person that I'm going to be able to communicate with on a regular basis to either forward documents to or get documents from to help the grant process go smoothly. The second reason why grants fail, anybody want to take a guess why you think it is? Why the reasons grants fail? You want to take a guess?
Not filled out properly?
No, people don't follow instructions.
Yeah.
They don't follow instructions how to fill the paperwork out. That's one of the second reasons why grants fail. But I'm here to walk you through the whole process, like I said. Unfortunately, I'm not going to retire this year. I still got a couple more years that I'll be around. And if you go through this process, like I said, you have a commitment from me for the next 5 years. It'll take you through those grant processes that you want to go through. So I think it's a really nice program. I'm easy to get along with. I don't come in yelling and saying you have to, you better, because I just provide you with a bunch of tools. You can use it, you don't have to use it, it's not mandatory. It's something that you can use, but you don't have to use. If you have, we have a website also. When you fill out your annual financial reports every year, you submit them to DCD. So we have a website that we can look on and we can see your you guys are actually doing pretty good. There were some deficits in the past years, but you guys are actually doing pretty good. Your fund balances are pretty good comparable to other communities. You know, you guys are doing pretty good. So kudos to you guys. Trust me, you guys are doing pretty good. There's a ranking system also that ranks borough, city, municipalities, and you guys are way down on the totem pole. You know, we always look at the top 100 as possible distressed communities, and you guys are like, I don't know, 500 or something, so you guys are doing really good as far as the ranking system is concerned. You don't have to be distressed to engage in this kind of program. If you would become distressed if something drastic would happen, you know, we do have, you might have heard of Home Rule or Act 47. Those are programs or tools, I should say, that we introduce to communities who are distressed, who help them through that period. It's not there for a permanent amount of time, but there is a period amount of time that a community who's distressed can use those tools. If you've been listening to the governor and the secretary go before the Congress and Senate, I love Josh. He's trying to give everybody money. We will take it, really. And the secretary is arguing in front of the Congress and Senate about why communities should get money and those kind of things. Like I said, there are other policy specialists who do the same thing that I do. So if you would go through the grant process and it comes time for us to have a review about all the grants that have been submitted, I'll be arguing why you guys should get the grants or money that you requested versus why other communities should or shouldn't get the money that they're requested. And I will tell you that I'm undefeated. I don't lose. So I like to get to my communities, and if I'm going to make an argument for why you get the money, I'm going to make sure you get the money. There's usually a match. That's also, all this is in there. I'm just giving you a summary. All this is in there. Usually there's a match of 50%. People sometimes think grants are free. Grants are not free. Grants are usually reimbursable. So for any money that you are asking for, typically you're asked to match it with 50% of your funds. However, if you produce any kind of hardship, it can be reduced as low as 10%. I take you through the whole invoicing process. I'm looking at you because I'm thinking we're going to be talking. And so we take you through that process, and I'm here. I like to walk you through every step. And I think that's just about it. Now, everything is in your package that I talked about. If you have any questions, you have my card. You can call me anytime. It's probably easier to reach me by email, because then I can send you reference material and I send you answers and I'll respond back to you. If you have any questions or concerns, like I said, I am now glad to meet you guys, because I'm your liaison for all matters involving your community and the state. So we have one local policy specialist who says, I'm your guy, you are my people. I like that line. So I'm your guy, you're my people. So that's the way that works. And you may see me, like I said, from time to time, because I do kind of just come in and just sit in the back and just hear what's going on and just get caught up on what's happening in my region. I try to have projects in all my regions, and I actually do, with the exception of Indiana. I don't have anything on in Indiana County. But everybody else, I got something going on with them. Any questions?
You mentioned something about being able to reduce the payback,
Yes, sir.
the match because of a hardship. What constitutes a hardship?
It was, sometimes, population decreasing at a rapid rate, which is, I guess, which hurts your
Yeah.
earned income tax,
Yeah.
your revenues, those kind of things. Anything that would affect, the amount of revenue that you was getting, that you have been getting, that has caused it to reduce. Anything like that.
That's the revenue. What about the expense side of it? The increased expenses of everything.
Yeah, those, you would list all those things that you think would be criteria for why you believe your community wouldn't be able to meet the 50% match.
Okay.
And you submit that letter to me, I submit to upper management, they make the decision on it, I don't make the decision on it.
What about that MS 14? Is that what it is?
MS4.
MS4.
14's a game.
Is there help? Do you know much about the MS4?
I don't know much about that.
MS4 is Stream Bank Restoration Program for streams or creeks that have
Silt.
Yeah, silt, but they call it something else.
Not even on
Infiltration.
the planner side.
We just spent last year
Okay.
almost $100,000 to get 250 feet of stream bank re-stabilized because the state requires us to do so.
Okay.
And it's only because we have a stream that runs through here that's created somewhere else. It just happens to, we're the low point, so it comes through here.
Or
So
one
we
square mile,
unfortunately have to
one
pay.
side comes out the other.
That put a big dent in our budget. So things like that may be able to help as well.
And send me an email, because like, as your liaison between all things, no matter with the state, if I can help you directly, I can point you to the right department that gets it done. I'm thinking that's probably gonna be on the planning side of things.
Okay.
They have a grant called a MAP grant, Municipal Assistance Planning Grant, that probably, would probably be applicable for those kind of situations.
Yeah, if we could get a grant, we could have, if we could have got, even if we had to pay half of it, it's
Yeah,
better than
back
paying
then,
the
all
whole
they told us
thing.
was tax.
Mhm.
You're allowed to put a tax on for it. I want to tax the people. That's their first answer.
But you have my contact now. Those are the kind of questions that, inquiries that you can submit to me, so we can find out if we can get you involved.
What about paving issues?
Yeah, that's planning. But send it to me. Send it to me in an email.
We have planning issues.
And, and my colleague, my planner, who is also, I'm over this region. She would have been here with me tonight, but she had to take the day off. But she would have been here, because we like to do, presentations together. But I can certainly introduce you to her by way of email, like I said, and you can certainly submit those inquiries to me. We can see if we can get you some help.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, George.
Thanks for stopping. Thanks for coming over.
Yeah, like I said, we're at Rochester Borough in the presentation, and Kevin and Susan were there, and so they invited me to come on out, so that's how I find myself here.
Do you need a folder from him?
Sure, if you have an extra one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have an extra one, yeah.
He has your
Yeah.
He
card.
should have my email already.
Good one, people.
There you
And
go.
you can have another card. I don't pay for it.
He's working on this. Great.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, good night,
Thank
guys.
you, George.
All right,
Take care.
Who's next?
Miss Kathy Brewer.
Uh-oh.
This is Kathy Brewer.
You again.
I just have a couple things. I know.
Again.
The park looks amazing. The guys are doing a great job, and baseball is really stepping up and doing
They stepped up their game.
They did.
what they said they were gonna do. It does look really good. My second thing, and Bill, I know I called you 15 times about this, the water issue and the fire hydrant issue. Everything at this point, I believe, is fixed, but I don't know what's gonna happen down the road with all that water that went through that yard. So I just wanna put you on notice that if there's an issue that I have in the future, that it's from all that water cascading from that hydrant. and
Yeah, I don't know
making the pond
what
in
issue you would have, but,
Well, I have that patio.
because usually when that water comes in that fast, it comes in and goes out.
Well, I hope that's what it does, because I don't want any issues.
Yeah, I can't guarantee anything,
I know you can't, but I just want it on record.
but everything got taken care of, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. And if you guys don't use the help from this guy, you're all crazy.
I already have two. I wrote down 2 things I'm gonna be talking to him about.
That
That's
is
great.
amazing. And
He was good.
And thank you, Kevin and Sue, for doing that. We have that help available, and they need to use it.
Yeah, it's funny that we've never heard of them before. Like,
Yeah.
if you're in charge of all these these counties, why aren't you? Why haven't you already been here? You know.
Part of the issue in the past was when I went with another council member, this has been quite a few years back, to a DECD meeting for grants and whatnot. And they talked all this stuff and it sounded really good, and then at the end of the meeting, they said, Aliquippa, this township, they named about 5 or 6 of them, you guys stay after meeting, we're gonna work with you on getting this, the rest of you guys can go.
I wonder if they're more of like,
Now, that's been a lot of years ago.
Probably didn't help much saying we have $400,000 in the bank all the time.
It's just the truth.
You might want to think about getting a podium too, because that's uncomfortable for him to stand up like that and talk. It might be a good idea to try to find one somewhere cheap. Or somebody, Bill, you could build one.
I can. All right.
The lights on it. Who else?
Is that everything?
And it?
That's everything.
Okay.
Thanks, Kathy.
And then we have more. North Sioux.
North is 102 37th Street Extension. I wanted to see if you guys could take out Parks and Recreation. Like, we want to paint the inside of the shelters that we do food out of and the bathrooms. So for the ceiling, we want white. I think we need 2 or 3 gallons because, I mean, they haven't been painted in ages. And then for the walls, we were thinking like a light or medium gray because you don't want white on the walls. It just gets too dirty.
Have you talked to baseball about that at all?
Well, that would be for our shelter, not for their stuff. That's,
Because they said that Lowe's was donating a bunch of paint, didn't they?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that was for their shelter.
for them.
For them.
Sure, it's
Well, see
gonna
if
be
they
the
can-
red and
Yeah.
green and gold or
See if
whatever.
they donate some to us for the shelter.
How much paint do you think you're gonna need?
I figured probably at least 2 or 3 gallons of white and 2 or 3, and the cinder block, probably at least 2 or 3 gallons for that. About 6 gallons of paint. And then eventually I'd like to paint the floor inside the shelter, which probably only wouldn't take that much with it.
Which shelter?
The one with the kitchen in it.
I don't think that's a good idea. Because once you paint it, it's gonna start peeling, then we gotta scrape and
No,
paint.
they're not
Not
talking
if you
about
do it
the
the right
outside,
way.
they're talking about the
The
inside.
inside,
Oh, okay.
the inside of the shelter on the floor.
Where the work,
Well, you would have to put some kind of sand in it or something to
you have
keep
to
it
get like
from.
an epoxy.
Well,
If
from
it
what
gets
I
wet.
Do the
understand,
garage
they
paint.
sell paint now that's floor floors, that's.
Yeah, when we put our garage up, we bought epoxy paint and then it's got grit in it, and then we also flaked
You
it.
can buy the paint with grit from what I understand though.
You can drop oil on there. and
But
just
that's
wipe it up.
future. You wanna do the
Or
walls
the
and
walls
the
and the
ceiling.
ceiling done.
I don't
yeah.
see a problem with
Yeah.
that.
Well, what I would do to start with, get a,
I figured it'd come out of Parks and Rec since we did the car cruise and.
Yeah, oh yeah.
well, what I was gonna say though, take a minute, go up to Home Depot and, take a letterhead with you and ask them if they would donate. Cause a lot of times they get paint that they can donate. They,
Okay.
so much stuff they can donate and just ask.
They get oops paint. What's it called?
Oops paint.
Oops
That
paint's
somebody screwed
never,
up?
oops paint usually is a very good color,
Well,
so.
but you just don't know.
Right.
You know.
But a lot of times they'll give you
Hoops paint the other day.
whatever you're asking for.
Okay. But I'd need a letterhead from somebody.
Yeah,
Okay.
you gotta
Probably.
give effort.
All right.
if they cannot get the donation,
At least just lower
can
price.
we,
See Danielle up there, she's the store manager, and she's usually pretty good at giving stuff away.
Okay.
And then if she doesn't give it, then we buy it and use my phone number, my old phone number, and you get 20% off.
Okay.
now, if they cannot get the donation, can we make a motion just to go ahead and let them get it out to Parks and Recs?
Sure.
I'll make a motion.
I
That's
second it.
There we go.
All in favor?
Uh-huh.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Next up. Mayor?
Oh, nobody else
That's
is
it.
on the list. That's it. That's the list. Anyone else wanna? that didn't
Anybody
sign?
else? We good? Right?
Motion with
Kevin?
No, we
Kevin,
can't.
Citizens Advisory Committee.
Somebody make a motion to go back.
We can't.
No, we gotta
They
do
said we
Citizens
can't.
Advisory Committee.
Oh, okay.
One of these days, we're gonna be in the groove here.
Yeah.
You're not gonna forget us. It was really nice of George to come here. I was just surprised to see him here tonight. That was a wonderful thing, and I hope you all will look at that packet. You know, there are 54 municipalities in Beaver County alone, times that kind of figured by all these different counties. Maybe that's why we haven't heard from George.
Yeah.
He's a busy guy, he's got a lot of stuff to do. But anyways, first I want to give Justin Richard our complete endorsement to fill one of the vacated seats. He's really been an asset to us on the committee, really helpful. He's got a kind of way of thinking about things that I think is really, really useful, important. He's a very systematic thinker. So yeah, we certainly endorse him. So you may be aware that our committee, we have a couple of areas we're working on. One is trying to learn about this stuff here like George has. And Sue and I and Sue and Janet, Pico have been talking to people and so forth. So I just want to let you know that so since March 25th, we've actually gone out and spoken to 4 different groups. Beaver Falls CDC, went to the Rochester meeting, talked to George and the folks there. City of Beaver Falls, talked to Mr. Jones there. Beaver Falls, Beaver County Community Economic Development Office, had a meeting with them on the 25th, and also Coppell Borough met with the mayor out there. She's a really nice person. You know her, right? Yeah, she was very helpful. So, you know, we're just gathering intel and info and trying to put it all together. We're documenting all this, and we, when a meeting happens, we send out an overview of what we learned to our, with our weekly update for all the members. So yeah, we're developing a knowledge base there. The second thing we have going on is our legislative agenda. And with your help, you know, we were able to pass a resolution creating a municipal operations handbook, a resolution authorizing an online municipal payment system, and a resolution creating a unified municipal schedule of fees. I think that's on your agenda tonight to talk about. Right, so, you know, we are following up with that on our end, trying to figure out, well, what needs to be put into a standard operating guideline document and so forth. So we're all working from the same page about that stuff. Pending, we have coming down the pike, just a FYI, a resolution we're asking for you guys to consider a resolution adopting the International Property Maintenance Code. And this will be put in one of our memos. We put your verbatim and your verbatim, Tina's endorsement of
What
adopting.
year?
I would assume the most current year.
See, that's
That's
you
the
can have a
problem.
problem with that because there's so many things you have to do with these new codes.
Well, I would say, you know, when we get to that point, some of my research showed that different communities are using different years
A lot of
Yeah.
them
in their
are-
ordinances.
I think a lot, like, I think Rochester or it's Patterson. One of them uses 09, one of them uses 18, but nobody uses the current one other than like Mohawk area or
It's too
something.
strict.
Is it?
It's
There's too
very
much
strict.
stuff you have
Well,
to.
my understanding is, I'm sure this would be a great discussion to have down the road, is that you can amend all this stuff as you need to, as you see fit, right? That's possible in the code. But I know you've been called for around this table to adopt this international, this maintenance code. Also, along with that, it was also been called for here, a recommendation by ISO to adopt international fire code. Imagine Chief Stowe, you could probably weigh in on that, but that was a recommendation by ISO that was brought up here by the fire chief, assistant fire chief, many years ago, and there's been no movement on that. And another thing that's coming down the pike is we're going to ask for a resolution for you guys to direct an annual municipal cost review. We had a citizen here asking about insurance. Right? She works Tracy Popovich. She asked, "Hey, do we ever stop and review that policy and try to figure out what can we do stuff cheaper around here? I should say less expensively." So that's another thing we want to throw your way. But right now on the table, you're all aware of this. I sent you emails on April 18th and again on May first, and I've had no response from anybody, but we're asking you to consider conforming to the law. Borough Code says you have to annually appoint by resolution the independent auditor. I went back, looked at the records, that's not been happening. You appoint by motion, right? Seems to be at reorganization meetings, but not annually, it's not in the minutes. So it would be a good thing probably to comply with the Borough Code on that. Requirements for a 25 emergency management operations plan. There's no evidence that you all have seen it, you all have weighed in, agreed to it, adopted it currently. So that's what we're calling for. And also to get on to a biennial schedule. I think that's in the state statute. It's calling for 2 years, if not sooner, annual review of that. And also we're asking that you all comply with the right to know law and appoint an agency open records officer. There is no one appointed here. I know that because the Office of Open Records has a database. You go there, of the 54 counties, municipalities in Beaver County, West Mayfield's one of 5 that doesn't have a named person to handle right-to-know requests. So we're suggesting that the borough get on board with that. And also there is a requirement to create an open records policy. What do you charge for making copies and so forth? So in the legislative memos that we sent you all, they're pretty detailed, and I think they're pretty comprehensive. And if you have any questions, please reach out. But we would like to see these resolutions put on next month's agenda for discussion and action. Vote them up, vote them down, change them, whatever you want to do. We'd like to have action on these. And so the last thing I want to talk about is our SOGs. We've currently identified 22 operations here for eventually, hopefully, for the next for inclusion in the municipal operations handbook. This has never been done before here in the borough. This is akin to like recodifying the ordinances. It's a big administrative task, so I know it can go slowly and try to get all these documents together, the drafts and so forth. So we get that, but we have a bunch of them. We've been sending them to you all to take a look at. There have been a few comments on some of them, but we are really not moving on these SOGs, right? Which are how we know what operations are. You all asked several questions about things happening in the borough here that we should know the answer to that. And at least you should be able to turn to the handbook and find it written down here. George had mentioned grant administration stuff. One of the SOGs that we're developing is a grant administrator SOG. Something that says if there's a grant in the borough, somebody is the administrator, the designated administrator, because grants almost always have obligations like reporting. And we know from last council meeting, we probably dodged a bullet, right? Because nobody was aware of the grant reporting, right? And I assume because no one was the administrator, which I don't understand that, because if you look...
The person that filled out the grant was the administrator.
The way we've worked them in the
Well,
past,
who
if
was
I got
that?
a grant, then I was the administrator for
Okay,
that part.
so the administrator should have been making the reports,
I
right?
was not to be the administrator from the whole table of grants. So if I got a grant for fund for
Yeah.
paving,
Okay, that's what
I
we're-
administrate it.
That's what we're trying to get at. That if you get a grant, right? If you want to be the designated administrator because you have the knowledge or experience, then you're the guy, right? You're the guy who takes care of that. And the secretary will always be the default, because if you get booted off the council, who's going to take over that role? Well, at least we'll have a backup there, right? So we do not miss these obligations. And but let's just admit it.
I thought you said you wanted one person in charge of all grants.
No, you haven't even seen this thing yet, Bill.
Well, I just thought you said here a minute ago that you wanted one person to lead all that.
Well, you know what? If you want 2 people, 3 people to be the designated grant administrator, have at it, right? Whatever it takes, right? But somebody needs. And by the way, that American Recovery Plan Act monies, I looked at the paperwork. It says in there somebody will be designated. That person will be designated. That person will be responsible for complying. That person will be responsible as the liaison person. If that was you, Bill, you nearly cost us $122,000.
Wasn't me.
Well, who was it?
It was a former councilman.
Okay, we have an SOG for that. When someone leaves council, right? Someone leaves council, they should meet with this person here, and our secretary should say, "Are you an administrator of any grants? We need that paperwork. Do you have any keys? Do you have any passwords?" All that sort of stuff. So this doesn't happen.
I agree with what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I don't think it should be her. I think it should be the president.
Well, okay, you guys figure it out. Well, we'll write that up in the SAG. However it works. But somebody needs to be responsible.
I understand that. That's what I'm saying. But the thing is, I can't be. If I was going to be, I wouldn't want to be the administrator grant for whatever he's doing in Parks and Rescue, because I don't know all those things.
Well, the point, Bill, is that somebody has to be in charge, and the SOG will call for somebody to be in charge, and then we'll know, hey, there's somebody in charge of this. It won't be off the radar. We won't miss emails and phone calls from the Department of Treasury saying, hey, letters saying, well, it's been years since you've complied with this grant. So it's to really keep us out of
Any
hot
grant
water.
you get, you got to have a contact person.
Yeah, right. So it's clear that we have to start addressing these things because we've got some of these things that are legal issues, compliance issues, like not having an ARO, not having an independent auditor annually appointed by resolution, right? Not having council review the EOP on a regular basis. We're discovering that there are administrative issues like a grant, having a problem with grant administration, website administration. If I get hit by a bus on the way out of here, who can get into that website where we have to post our agendas and meeting minutes and stuff like that? But who can get into that? Nobody has the username and password except me. No one's asked me for it. So we have an SOG for that. A systematic, coherent budget process. There should be an SOG for that. How does that work? A municipal planner. A calendar that says when we have grant deadlines due, it's on there. When we have a floodplain management report due in February, that's on the municipal planning. So none of this stuff falls off the radar, right? It's on this one-stop shop document available to all of you to see. And I've been compiling this because we have a draft SOG around this. Man, there's a lot of stuff. Well, you have a lot of stuff to sort of remember. UC reports, mileage reports for liquid fuels, and there's another report for liquid fuels. Things like, you told me you didn't know about this. After the municipal audit comes in, and it should be coming in any day now, right? The secretary has to publish what is it called? A concise statement of finances. You didn't know about that. Okay. So that should be on the planner, right? So we don't get in trouble for that. Our own operations processes, right? Guidelines, coherent guidelines for a snow and ice removal program. We don't have guidelines for operating and managing the park shelter rental program. We don't have parliamentary guidelines, how a meeting can effectively run. Many communities do this. We don't have that, which, Robert's Rules is a good thing, recommended by the Pennsylvania State Association of Boroughs. So that's going to come up in an SOG down the line for your review, for your feedback, so we can get this into a handbook. And then also, addressing these long-standing unresolved issues, repeated issues that keep coming up. The International Property Code, not moving to adopt the International Fire Code, not moving to address the fire prevention recommendations. To your credit, you've been calling for that, right? So that's something that is hanging out there, but we're just spinning our wheels on it. Not moving on initiating a plan to recodify and update the borough ordinances. I don't know how many times that comes up around this table. But
Kevin,
there's
I'll be
no
honest with
movement.
you on that. Every time that we've mentioned things and given documents to get reviewed and looked at, again, I know he had a surgery, but again, waiting for somebody else that has higher up to review it. So that's a huge factor of, you have to have somebody look over it and suggest it, and then bring it to the table, and if all we're getting is the first step, there's the problem.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a lot of work.
So-
She's putting a lot of work into
But it keeps
even
getting
looking.
dead stopped, you know?
The borough has,
Getting paperwork
finding-
for people to look at it, and it's stopped, you know?
an SOG around ordinances might be, hey, every 10 years, we will seriously review our ordinances, right, to do perhaps a recodification if necessary.
All of them?
Or whatever. That's what a recodification is.
That's huge.
Right? They did it here in 1976. We were at Rochester, and the guy said, oh, we haven't updated recodified our ordinances since, I think it's like the 90s or something. We were like, we got you on that one. So 1976, that's the last time we took a look at our stuff. You can still go back, get chickens running around, right, hold them for a little bit, no one contacts you, you can put them in a pot and eat it. That's on the
I'm
books.
not worrying about it, unless there's free eggs.
Right, right. So, so my point around these SOGs is that we are, like we said we would do, we are working in good faith, diligently. We had a meeting on Tuesday, we stayed late, we had our own work session, we looked at a couple of these SOGs. So we're doing our part, we're trying to move forward. This is a big project, undoubtedly. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of paperwork. We said we would take on this administrative burden and do the heavy lift of all the paperwork, and we think we're off to a really good start, right, with these 22. And there are a lot more that obviously can come into this picture. So that's pretty much what I have, but I do want to say that this stuff is out there. We're working on it. We're meeting with people. We're thinking about how we can make legislative fixes, or suggest, I should say, because I want to respect your authority, to suggest legislative solutions to some of these things that we're uncovering, like these non-compliance issues with the law, right? Don't ask me. I'm not a lawyer. Ask this guy that you pay, right, for his legal services if you can get away with not following the borough code or not following state statutes. We'll take it from there, okay? All right, thanks.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
While we're all here, are we going to be able now to change the meetings to Wednesdays as of right now?
We haven't voted them in yet.
But once we vote them in,
Okay.
we send it out to change the meetings.
Yeah, we've already discussed it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So probably in June,
yeah.
this is May, in June, we're gonna have a Wednesday meeting.
Yes, our council work session will be the Wednesday before, the first Wednesday, and then the actual meetings will be Wednesday, the
Okay.
second Wednesday.
So at least at the next work session, can some of those things that you brought up be discussed at the work session? So they can be decided or voted on at the meeting?
Yeah.
Sure, why not? That's the point of a work
That's the-
session. is
yeah.
to Do a deep dive into the work that needs to
Correct.
get done while everybody's, there to sort of weigh in and.
Okay, because at the last work session meeting, which was canceled because it was only me and Ryan and Jenna, because we had people away. Remember?
Yeah.
Those people were away and no one else was
What are you
here.
talking about last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you want like a 2-week, at least we should have a breather week between these work session and meetings and not like right bump it up against that meeting. You get it? You understand?
Like
Like have a bump, like a week,
Like
like a 2-week break
work
there.
session,
And
skip.
then, yes.
So the last week of the month. Because you're the second week for the meetings already. So that's the last week of the month is when you have your work sessions.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's what,
Yeah, it's just 2 weeks.
so will you be able to,
Don't want
okay.
something much
Well, hey,
more.
So,
I mean, we'll be here. I mean,
Right.
I'll be here at every public meeting,
and
work
then
session
at least we'll
meeting.
be able to discuss some of that stuff and make
We're
the
here
other
to help with
meetings
that, yeah.
shorter,
Yeah.
okay?
We're here to help however we
Okay,
can.
I know you're here, I
Moving
know this
forward.
is,
Yeah. But
Okay.
we really need the cooperation of council to
Okay.
start moving this stuff forward.
Here.
all right.
We need, in my opinion, to do something. You guys put all that effort into all this stuff for the fire thing. We've done nothing. We've not moved forward at all.
No.
Other than hiring Beaver Falls, we have not moved forward on putting any of those procedures or processes in place.
Escrow ordinance.
Huh?
Escrow ordinance. That was.
Oh, okay, we got one. But I think we need to get something rolling and focus on doing that before we start rolling out 15, 20, 30, 40 more stuff to try to get to. I'd like to see us get one done. And I'm talking about all of us.
Well, and that's part of the issue to me personally. I am not a career politician. I have no clue what half of this stuff even means. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. A lot of the stuff that Kevin brings up, I don't understand half the words some of the times, and it's just the way that, I'm a streets guy. When I first got on here, I assumed that I'd be doing that line of thing, because there's a lot of things that you wouldn't have a clue on how to fix or do or whatever inside of here. That's the role that I kind of took on. I just seems like I get so many emails, and it's not just from you. I've got emails coming from all the other citizens as well. And my head spins. It really does. So how do you focus on how do you figure out which problem is the most important problem? But we can't work on that problem because I've got 10 other problems, and then while I'm working on those problems, that's how it feels all the time. So I don't even know where to go half the time. Like it's
Overwhelming.
It's extremely overwhelming. I simply do not have the time. Like, I read all your emails, I do, but I don't have time to write you a 10-minute, reply. I just know that they are being read and that I'm trying to, decipher them the best that I can. But
regarding these SOGs, I mean, we're putting these up on a shared platform.
Yes, and I've seen them.
Jason has made comments on there. Justin's weighed in. Other committee members. I don't think any other council members have weighed in on that. But put the comments next to something, even if it's like, I get it, I don't get it. Hey, maybe we should change it to this. Jason had a question like, I don't know about charging people for leaf pickup or something like that, and so my response back to that was like, okay, well, let's table that. Let's table that, right? It's a dialogic process. In other words, it's a back and forth. It's a conversation, right? My ex-mother-in-law gave me the greatest advice one time. She said, "Don't organize, prioritize," right? So, okay, when it comes to these SOGs, getting something done. Let's look at what is the most pressing one, right? I can tell you that general administration is probably right up there, like having that planner in place, right? So no one misses a calendar, a deadline or a due date for something, right? So nobody gets in trouble with any of this stuff that is required. That's probably, to me, I would put that in the top 3 of things to work on, but. But we're not, like I said, we haven't done this before. This is requiring a level of cooperation and engagement and dialogue back and forth, horse trading of ideas, right? That's what a lot of this stuff is. Cooperatively working on documents, it's excruciating, right? I did this for a living. It's not fun. Right?
I think another part of the issue too is, a lot of council members here are under a shitload of scrutiny. Like, I see it on Facebook constantly. And it drives me nuts because some of the members are from your committee. And it's like, we're trying to do what we can, and there isn't enough time in the day to get a lot of this stuff completed. Like, I don't know. Like,
I know, I got criticized for leaving my trailer at the fire department for 3 days longer than council gave me permission to do.
Oh, hey, this committee has nothing to do with that kind of stuff.
Those on the concerned citizens.
From that.
Concerned citizens, that's something, actually, that's a more general.
Right, but there's other things that are going around, and it's like there's so much pressure on it. And look, we're doing the best we can with what we got. I don't think anybody here.
That's your case to make.
Like,
democracy's messy, right? That's your case to make to the citizens. There's no 2 ways around that. Right?
Yep.
And
after seeing that, because you can't get council members.
Come voting time, chips will fall where they fall, or
There's nobody on the ballot.
Nobody's on the ballot.
I'm in the same boat. I'm not a politician.
You and
I
Kathy?
stepped in here to help, to try and better the community. I don't want to be hounded with tons of this, do that, and
There's
I mean,
no benefit.
I spend so much time
There
just
is.
driving around here, looking at people's yards and beating on doors, and I'm only here. It's getting to the point where I'm only here 2 weeks out of a month. I spend a lot of my time in Florida, so I can't be hammered with having to try and figure out, decipher what you're telling all these emails you're sending me. I can't figure. I'm same as Jake. I can't figure all this stuff out, and I only have so much time.
I don't know what
my
to
phone
focus
rings
on,
every
right?
day about tall grass and cars and all kinds of
Welcome to being
issues.
president.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining about that. I'm having a hard time with trying to do everything I'm doing, and you sending me all these emails that I'm like, I can't make a lot of it. I can't make heads or tails of. I can read it and it goes in one ear and out the other.
Well, reach out, please, reach out.
You
I'll
gotta have
talk
a
to
work
anybody.
session. You ought to have a work session of not adding new stuff, getting one of them and pushing it through, working every time. Okay, now we did this much of it. Let's do this part of it. To me, that would be for you guys to spend all the time putting all the stuff out there and nothing happens. Not fair to you either.
No.
You know what I mean? That's not right.
Yeah, that's
It's
great
not,
what you're
it's
doing.
not that
It's just overwhelming.
I'm against what you're trying to do. It's just that there's so much of it so fast, and it's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
and it
but-
becomes frustrating, and then it becomes,
Nothing to be done.
We're overwhelming the secretary with a lot.
Yeah,
She's
doing a lot
learning.
more.
She's
the other
still
secretary.
learning.
Yeah, Jen and I, we talked quite a bit, email and phone, about this stuff, and we worked through some of that stuff, and I think that's a model that conversations have to take place, that, in work sessions, right? We asked you all, that was actually one of our legislative agendas, we asked to instill, like, over half of the boroughs in this county they have a work session, right, to help discuss, right? If not, get real things adjudicated, if you will. And that's the wrong way to put that. Legislated, right, around the table. No, you said you're too busy. Jason, you said you're too busy. You voted against those things. Well, you can't have it both ways. We need a work session, you said. Well, we set up work sessions.
I'm not going to come to a work session to create 7 other things that I haven't even got the first one started yet.
Well, come and work on the first one then.
I would do that.
Okay, then
If you're
it's
going to
your
focus
call.
on just this piece, then that's fine.
It's your
I
call.
would come and do that.
It's your call. We're laying the
To
stuff
come out here and
on
say
your
I'm going to work
doorstep.
on 5 or 6 other ones, to me, that's almost a waste of time because I can't
Everybody
get the
at this
first one
table
done.
appreciate everything you guys are doing, 100%.
Yes,
we
But we
appreciate
can't
you.
handle all of the
We
things that
appreciate
you're
what you guys are doing, and we appreciate any attempt that you're putting into moving things forward with this. So if you want to work on one of these SOGs at the next work session that you put together, well, that's better than none, right?
Yeah.
And we'll let the 21 others we have on the boiler sort of simmer.
Yes, but it'll give you the process to get it pushed through. If you get one of them done, through all the way pushed out, then you now know when you pull the next one up, okay, I already know I need to go do this, and this. So it kind of
Yeah,
sets
we did 2 at the last meeting, didn't we?
No,
we got 2 things settled.
resolutions, that's all.
Resolutions, okay.
Yeah, 3, didn't you?
Was it 3? Okay.
Hey, that's significant. That's
what I'm saying. We can't.
Because look, I'll speak for myself, and I probably speak for the committee. This isn't about railroading, jamming anything down your throats. This is about persuading you, right, with reason, logic, documentation from the public record, that what we're laying on the table are good ideas, right? And if you don't think they're good ideas, then
That's not what we're saying. We're not saying they're not good ideas. It's just too much to handle at one time.
well, that's okay. That's a bit of a good problem to have, right? At least we know what we need to work on.
Can we get almost a list of your top priorities you want to run through? And then we'll decide on which ones we can push through first at our next work session.
Provide a list of all of them.
Well,
Yeah,
you have you're an email
Rank them,
listener.
we can rank them.
it was a wrong email, so we're getting that addressed.
Oh, no, you're now the Gmail page. Okay,
Yes.
Okay, so I did, I can catch you up to speed and everything, but I do put
Okay.
all the SOGs,
Okay.
and they're linkable.
Perfect.
This guy's like,
Yeah, I
Are
was.
they going to your kids?
It's going to an email where everything I get is spam.
Oh,
So I created a new one for council. So, but it got mixed up. So
I got you on there now.
yeah.
All right.
But there's, you can click on the links and you can see the documents.
Okay.
You can make the comments right on the documents. Right. I'm trying to make it as universal and
Okay, yeah.
shared as possible.
Because like I said, you said people were commenting. I'm like, where's this at?
I'm glad you linked it.
Yeah.
All
So
right, well, I think we need to get back to old business now.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Get it.
Thank you. Jake?
All right,
Bridges
so
lighting.
I know there's nothing on here, but I did receive a phone call earlier today from our representative from Pennsylvania, One Call Systems. Last year, when I took over that situation, it was brought to my attention we were in a little bit of trouble. We were responding to 3% of all of the PA1 calls that were given to us. It is now state law that you have to start doing that, like you have to respond to it.
Well, I never responded, I guess.
Nobody was filling in the actual stuff, so you actually have to
Oh, they
go
weren't
on the
completing.
site.
like field
You have to
marks.
say that you
Yeah.
field marked it, and then if there were any description, you could put that in there. He called super thrilled, and he said, "Hey, I just want to say thank you guys. I don't know what you did, but you are 100% response right now. So we have changed things around. Good to go." Buildings around. Okay, Brian is still working on marking the roads with the spray paint and getting dimensions on all that stuff. The problem is every time we go out, it's almost wet, and as soon as you spray it, it's gone. So the weather's changing. Hopefully, we'll have that done soon. Good on Brian for
So
that.
that's for the paving part?
Yes, that's that. I want to be able to hand anybody the list and say,
Yes.
check here. This is what we're bidding. So that's the game plan right now.
And I'm still working on the liquid fuels requirements.
Perfect. That's all I've got for that.
How about building grounds and equipment?
That's all.
Still here.
That's
Oh, that's old, that's, okay. Is that it then?
Yes.
Ryan, fire and police?
Nothing under old.
Okay, sewers and sanitation, Bill.
Okay, under old, I got a call 2 days ago from True Plumbing. They're going to start coming up. Matter of fact, that they should have put a PA1 call in already. Did you get that, Brian? They're going to start to work on that alley where we're going to replace the sewer line down there at the old foundry area.
The day you called me.
Huh?
It was on there the day you called me.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to give you a heads up, but yeah. So they're going to be starting that project soon. So just let you know that that's coming.
Good.
That's it. Oh,
Finance and litigation, Jason.
Nothing really old, but I'm getting to the point right now. I don't have time. I can't put forward to this right now. 10 hours a day because I have a lot of stuff to do with it as well. So I'm putting in my resignation.
That should be under new.
Stings.
Great.
I'm sorry. I just do not have the bandwidth in my work. There's no way I can get to do anything.
Okay. Ordinance, there's nothing new on ordinance. Or old, I mean.
don't go away.
I don't believe, we're still waiting on Joe.
Wait on new business.
Parks and Rec,
So I have an update for baseball. Few things. Scott McGee sent me a flyer. West Mayfield Baseball prevents swing into summer. So they're going to be having an event Saturday, May 31st. Join us for a day of fun. Starts at 10:30. It's also on their website, so West Mayfield Youth Baseball Association. You can check that out on Facebook. There will be a performance of the national anthem, introduction of teams and players, recognition of sponsors. 11 o'clock they will start. Oh, shoot. Okay. the T-ball's first, so it's one T-ball game that's gonna go on at 11 o'clock. West Mayfield Minor League will start, and then West Mayfield Farm League. So it's just like a neat little tournament, like summer's here, and I believe it's all gonna be just West Mayfield, like it's just those kids and whatever else. So I don't know, neat little event he told me to share with you guys. Also, we were working on that, the changes for our agreement with them. The only changes that they came up with was, instead of the 3 years, they're suggesting 5 years. And, they want the first right. So like if, at the end of their contract, we give them the first right to, you know, get back involved. That's just gonna help benefit them for spending money. If they're investing money, they're worried that, you know, we give somebody else first rights, they just lost out on all of their investment.
I
So
can understand that.
we talked about that the last meeting, everybody was in
We
agreement.
discussed that last
Yeah, we discussed it last meeting, so that's all done. They're signed, they're ready to go. Jenna will be getting the signed agreement from Scott probably in the next couple days. But
The 3 or the
Yeah.
5.
what's that? It's 5. So we're gonna give them 5 years. And then after the 5 years, if you guys wanna, you know, change that stuff around or whatever, manipulate it however you want, you can, but that's the way it's gonna be right now.
They're doing great down there.
So far, they did get a side by side that came in. They're using it currently. They're maintaining the infields with that. It's looking great. I seen a contractor down there. I think he said, let me see if it says on here. There it is. Repairs will be done to the pony dugout May 31st. So they're going to rehab the dugouts down there on the 31st, weather pending. But that'll be done and taken care of. The dugouts all got painted. Concession stand's been all cleaned out and redone to the way they needed it. They got all their banners up, and that's all I got for that.
Okay.
So I say these guys, this group we have in there down there doing it now, is much more responsive and cooperative. And
Oh, they're
getting
great.
a lot more done than we've ever seen in the past.
They've been great.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't know, Barry did a pretty good
Well,
job.
Barry did a pretty good job, but
He
Barry,
did, he,
Barry made a pretty
he
good
brought the
living out
fields
of it,
back.
too.
All right, thanks. I got nothing. Joe's not here. Does anybody have anything from Joe?
He didn't have anything.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Mayor?
Nope.
Nothing
No, I
on
don't
your
have
old?
anything.
All right, let's go to new. Jake?
Streets, bridge lighting. Okay, I got nothing under that, but for equipment, I'm gonna turn this over to Brian. I'll give you the quick gist of things. The big GMC truck, we had an issue with it, battery related, but it ended up being that, what do they call
Just the
that?
ends on the wires at the isolator.
That got fixed, it's back in order. I don't think that cost us much of anything, did it?
$10.
$10. That truck's back and running. We now have a major issue with the Ford. Started smoking, and Brian was doing some diagnostic on it. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, when I first noticed it, I brought it up over 43rd Street. And I got to top of the hill and I'm looking out both sides of the window and wonder where all the smoke's coming from. But it's coming out of that tailpipe of that truck. And I brought it up here, checked the oil and stuff in it. It had no oil in it. And so I put my scanner on it and it's coming up with turbo issues. And
The turbo runs on the oil, that uses the
the
oil
oil
to
goes
cool
through the
it.
turbo. And and that's what it did. It's probably gonna need a turbo on it because it sucked the oil out of the motor. And so I took it upon me to do a service on the truck. Changed all the filters, changed the oil, and that was a rude awakening. And because the truck's supposed to hold 16 quarts of oil in it, and 3 might have came out of it. And Ed told me that the
So
turbo.
all the rest of it got burned off through the turbo?
Oh yeah, it was pouring smoke.
That's a lot of oil.
Oh, they'll tear it
We
up.
don't have no leaks nowhere else.
No, that thing ain't
When's the
leaking
last
nowhere.
time it was checked?
What,
When was the last time it was checked?
what, the oil?
Yeah. You guys have like a schedule you keep up?
3 weeks ago,
Okay.
when I did, fix the lighting on it, I put the batteries in it. And, it was full then.
So what we're gonna need to do now is get it to a shop. He already talked to his boy. He's not gonna do it. It's gonna need some work, so, I don't know. We can't just take this thing. We can't have this thing shipped all over the place.
It could be in a rude awakening of price.
It's not gonna be cheap, but there's one guy out in Enon Valley that everybody that I've talked to so far has suggested, and that's FTP Performance. I know it's performance, but that's all they do is diesel work, diesel trucks. So we're probably gonna end up having to send it out there. I don't know, are we able to get that out there, or are you gonna have to tow it?
I'm almost afraid to drive it there, cause
Oh, yeah.
what I've heard, what them, you know, if the turbo is bad, it could screw the motor up.
So, first order of business, can we have Brian tow it out there and can we compensate him for it? Can we handle that now?
Is that where we're going? We're sure that's where we're going with it?
That's where we're going with it.
Have you tried Link out in Darlington?
Link.
That's right on 51, right before you merge.
Oh, Jason Blinkowitz, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I haven't. I can reach out to him, but he sends a lot of stuff out to him.
because for the municipal authority, we send all of our trucks out to there.
Okay.
They're right out there.
I'll talk to Jason. I know him personally.
Okay.
Either way, it's going to need towed. So, are we okay with reimbursing Brian? Do you have a price in mind if you had to go either to Darlington or Enon?
I didn't make a price, but it wouldn't be 150 anyway.
Okay, $150. Can we spend that?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Perfect.
All in favor?
Aye.
I will reach out to Jason,
Something has to be done.
Yeah.
and I'll reach out to
I will tell
FTP.
you, my son, he does this stuff up there where he works. They had a 19 van up there with that same exact motor in it. They put 4 turbos on that thing. In like 2 years. Keeps blowing them up.
There's got to be a root cause of it.
Did he say what the cost of the turbos were?
I ain't telling you.
That's what I was afraid of.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Because the van was under warranty and it went to Ford. And, you don't wanna know that price.
I have a pretty good idea.
No, you don't.
'Cause
Anyways.
what happens, what you gotta be worried about is that it used so much oil. Now you gotta worry about that DPF system.
Uh-huh.
I know that's $6,000 by itself.
So I mean, there's no other way of knowing until we know. We have to at least get it
Yeah,
checked,
you gotta find out.
and it's,
Makes you sick because the truck
Is that-
only got 20,000 miles.
That runs deaf.
oh yeah.
Delete it.
That's ridiculous.
All right, what else?
Maybe.
That's it for new under that. Yep.
All right, Brian, fire and police.
Under new,
Yes.
Chief Stowe, you're up, buddy.
Fire department responded to 10 incidents in April. It's listed there, 1 carbon monoxide, 4 emergency medical incidents, 4 power lines down, and 1 building weakened or collapsed. They're all listed below. During the storm last week, numerous trees come down, power lines down on Rock Avenue, it brought down some primary lines. Up on Harbison, a tree fell through a house, actually went through the roof and into the living room. So I will say I want to thank the Brian and the road crew. They come out with signs and got Rock Avenue closed down very quickly, and also assisted with some of the trees that were down. It was kind of a mess up. So yeah. Training, there was 440 hours of training by our firefighters, several certifications, and the last page of your report, it just shows the different calls, response times, again, for the month of April. The average response time was 4 minutes and 30 seconds from the time we were dispatched to
Great
arrive
job.
on the scene. So, yeah. I will make a comment. I apologize to Mrs. Brewer at the incident up by her home when our firefighters were testing, flow testing hydrants, and I do apologize. I'll apologize in public. We have been trying to be proactive to determine what the flows are of these hydrants, because we don't know. Based on our knowledge of fire hydrants, in Beaver Falls alone, there's a lot of hydrants that we don't even use because they're so low. So we need to know what these hydrants are flowing, so in the event of a fire, we know where to get the best hydrant at. But we're not gonna flow any more hydrants. They're in these small, tight areas. We will just do the main ones. Most of them are already done, but I just wanted to again, I felt bad for what happened. You know, our guys immediately after realizing the water was shooting up into the yard, they shut the hydrant down, but obviously some asphalt and whatnot went in the yard. But I want everybody to know why we were doing it. It's an effort to make certain that, you know, we know what the flows are. I recall fire up on, I think it was West 4th, Bill, you remember that house, that the hydrants over there at the time didn't give us any water. We played heck trying to get water on that house fire, and it just continued to burn because we didn't have water. So that's the reason, and again, we won't be testing in those tight areas again, so we would have to base our flows on the hydrants that are nearby.
The city still doing flow testing? They used to.
Oh, I'm sure they do, but you know how we do it, we tested all of our hydrants at one point, but then we pick 10 or 20 hydrants a year and we'll go out and test them just to see if there's any change. Or if new lines have been put in, we'll go out and test to make sure. We keep all that data in our apparatus so we know what the data is on each hydrant, so when we have a fire, we look at that, and that's what we determine. You know, we may hit the hydrant, the closest hydrant, but the second engine will lay in from the better hydrant.
Right. I understand all that.
If there's any questions other than that for the fire department?
I have one more question for you, Mark. When all those fires and stuff were down, were they still charged when they were on the ground?
So, all of them but one. Over Rock Avenue, we were initially under the impression that everything was dead. Then that there was one line coming from the opposite direction that was not dead. And at that point, we had to get Duquesne Light because typically those lines will shut down automatically. Then they'll attempt to you know, automatically try to reset, but then if it doesn't, then it's shut down. So typically when lines hit the ground, they'll work for a while, but then it shuts down. In the case over there, the one, because it came from a different direction, it was not. So we had to sit and babysit, and I requested Duquesne Light emergent because of the situation, and they actually came within about 20 minutes after telling them, you know, they had so many calls. But the fact was that power line was live. Someone could have walked into it.
Exactly. That was what, just want to make sure you had guys there.
Oh, yeah. And they sent.
Because them signs are nice, but
oh, no.
people on foot don't care about them signs.
No.
They'll walk right down.
That's exactly what we told Duquesne Light was. So they actually, they were there within 20 minutes, and then they actually sent a guy out and stationed the guy to relieve us, and had him sit there until that line was disconnected. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah.
But they were actually, they sent a guy right out with a pickup truck, and he sat there with it.
Good deal. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, anything else?
Nope. All good.
All right. Bill, sewers, anything new?
What was the other sewer? What was the other sewer? You remember I said I had a second sewer issue? Oh, how did you make out with your issue down at your place? That should have come, I was gonna ask it under old, I forgot. When it come out down off of White Township,
Do we want to talk about it? So.
no, I don't really need to talk about it, as long as you got a handle.
Initially, well, it's not handled. Initially, the first clog that had happened, what it is there's a main sewer line that runs the entire ridge of that White Township Mountain, is what I call it. Runs the whole way down through there. I'm gonna guess and say there's somewhere between 9 and maybe 11 manholes. Each one of those manholes is sticking up probably 2.5, 3 foot. They're all encased with brick. The brick's getting old and it's falling in, and then when it falls in, it completely clogs the line. Ray was able to fix that pretty well. I was gonna say he's gonna be able to fix it quickly. 24 hours of sewage into my backyard. They were able to get it fixed. Once that was fixed, a couple days after, Ray reached out to me and said, "Hey, we have another major issue." I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "I got a plug up here. I don't have any equipment to get it fixed. I've made phone calls. Nobody can get here. It's just going to leak until somebody gets here and fixes it." I have not heard anything back from them, but I still have sewage seeping into my yard.
Still coming down off the hill.
And I don't know what to do about it. There's nothing I can do about it. Like, I wish I knew, but I haven't heard anything from the guys from DEP. I don't know who else to contact. Somebody actually sent it over to the police, I guess. Somebody contacted the police. Ray called me up flipping out, said, "Why'd you call the police on me?" And I said, "I didn't even know that there was another problem. It's still leaking, but I would have called you first, you know?" So I have no idea. I have no clue what's going on.
Okay. Tell you the truth, because I hadn't heard a whole lot.
Yeah, and I don't know what I'm able to do about it. I kind of wish Joe was here tonight so I could ask him if there was
You
anything.
see, contacted the DEP?
Yes.
I can't believe that they didn't send somebody down there or something, or require some kind of a system there to block some socks or whatever to keep that from
Keep
going
it out
into
of
the
your
creek.
yard.
Well, it's gonna be in his yard, but from getting into the creek.
Well, and the DEP man showed up. He came down and he
I
was
know, I went
very
down there,
upset
but I just
about
missed
it.
him.
He contacted me by phone. He was very upset about the issue. He said it's completely wrong and they shouldn't be doing this, and he's gonna, do his thing. But
meanwhile, it's still going into the creek.
yeah, I have no idea
Some kind
what's
of a
going on.
preventative thing they can do there.
So I have a crawl space behind my house. It's 60 by 30, and it's full. So I don't even know how to fix that. Like, who do you call? I can't fit in that hole. I don't know.
I'm just concerned about the borough now having an issue with that being in the creek. And then
That's why I was-
after the borough.
Down, does that go in the creek down by the ball fields?
Yes.
So
It's
should
not
we
unless
like?
it's on
Can
the-
I understand that,
Right down
but
the
should we
default.
have signs say? Because I know kids they go in there and play around, try to catch crawfish.
It's been reported. All I can say, it's been reported. And I don't think it's on West Mayfield to go down there and put signs up that say there's potential sewage leakage in there.
That should be White Township. That's coming from their line.
Why not? Why not? If you know there's sewage going in the creek, why don't you do it as a borough official? I mean, err on the side of caution.
I don't know what we can legally do or what we can't do.
You got a
I'm gonna
lawyer.
call DEP if you don't care.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
see if
hope
what
so.
can be done for that purpose. And I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what I wanted to
it's a
find
sewer
out.
issue.
I can't believe
Yeah.
they're allowing that to happen. It just baffles my mind.
It's a public health issue.
I know it is, but we contacted the DEP.
I thought it was over
You
the
reached
day-
out to them, and then I reached out to them, and I asked him, "What do I need to do?" And he said, "I'll report back." And I haven't heard anything.
I thought it was over. It wasn't coming down anymore after. Now I figured when it rained we'd get some stuff.
I mean, I'm living in it. Like
Right.
you know what I mean?
You know,
Like,
as council, y'all have a duty for public safety, protect the citizens and anyone in that park from contamination with raw
and we
sewage.
did. I mean, the right people were contacted.
Yeah, I got called.
But it's still there. You just can't walk away and say, well, we made some calls. That's irresponsible, Jake. I mean, look, I'm just approaching this from a public safety. I'm listening to what you're saying. It's raw sewage.
It's raw sewage.
It's going in the creek.
kids are playing in the creek, no one's aware of it.
Yeah, but
They
at what
are
point
now.
do you stop?
They're
Do I have
aware
to
of it now.
contact Beaver Falls and tell them they have to do it too because their creek's got it? And
Well,
then do
maybe,
I
I
need to
don't know.
contact the river department?
I don't know.
Tell them if there's poop in the river? The
That's why I wanna
DEP
go
is the
over it.
one
That's
that
why I
should
wanna
be on
contact
top of
DEP.
this, shutting that stuff down, and they're
Yeah,
not.
but you have, as
But
a
I know
council
that-
member, you have authority to do something about it. Posting a notice, right? Posting a notice so kids
There's
don't play in it.
there's notice. Everybody knows on Facebook. I posted countless pictures of poop running down into the creek. Everybody knows that there's poop in that creek.
Yeah, there's enough video of it.
I'm not sure everybody knows, because there's no public notice, no sign, right? Would you like some little kid to
And
go
then where do
wave
you
in
put the
there?
signs, Kevin?
Well, I don't know,
you
Bob.
gotta
You,
put
you,
signs.
you know, there's signs
Every
posted.
15 feet, every 20 feet, every
Okay,
50
well, I don't know,
feet?
figure it out,
All
right?
the news.
Figure it out, call the news.
Well, that's
Like
an
I said, I'm
idea
gonna call
too.
DEP and see what we need to do.
That's a good one.
Sorry.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Ordinance? None. Parks and Rec? None, I guess.
I don't think I read anything. No, we're good.
Oh, before we jump too far down, did you get the file I sent you from Whitmer about paving?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's it.
Are we renting shelters?
Yes,
You got some, good,
we got a bunch.
good. Thank you, Jenna, for taking that over.
Thanks for the acknowledgement.
I wanted to talk about the fees for permits. Now, I think all we have right now is we have a $60 permit.
And it's a generic permit.
Now, I've contacted Patterson Township, New Brighton,
You skipped your.
Beaver Falls. Beaver Falls charges for a permit, they charge $25 and 1% of the total cost for residential. And it's, I think it was $100, or I can't remember what it was, plus,
75.
is that, okay, yeah, $75 plus the percentage for their commercial. New Brighton charges a flat $75 or whatever it is, and now they have they have city, no, not city, they have New Brighton, she was explaining to me, New Brighton Borough, and then they have a township, and something else, and they're all different. Everybody's fees are different.
The New
But-
Brighton takes care of Patterson, Pulaski
Yes.
Township, so yeah.
So, and they're all different prices. All we have is $60. Doesn't,
For any permit.
yeah. Now, I got a lady that sent over for a deck. You sent me that. The deck's 9 feet up. I can't do that. That's got to go to Code Sys. So I didn't know. Now, some of them have, they give out the paperwork, they fill out for an application for a permit. It goes to, it comes back, and then they charge a percentage of whatever Code Sys, or they don't have Code Sys, they have MDIA.
Right. So they have to fill out the paperwork and then they pay for the fee, whatever code says or MBIA charges. And then they pay a percent, and then they also pay a $25 fee to the city or the township or the borough, you know,
Right.
to finish.
But we
getting
don't
that
have
permit.
all
We don't
that
have
stuff.
that.
And that's why that kind of falls under what you were talking about, Kevin, with the fees. We got to figure out how we're going to charge. Are we just going to stick with our $60? And then when we send them to Code Sys, we don't know if they got their permit or not. Code Sys doesn't come back to us and say, hey, they're good. So I got to get a hold of Code Sys next. I'm going to talk to them and ask them if there's a way that they can.
And you're only talking about building permits and stuff like that.
Yes.
Because we have separate fees for like street opening permits and stuff like that.
Right, no, just,
So you don't get anything back from Code Assist?
no,
Oh.
But we haven't used them. We've only used
We've
them a
only
couple
used them
times.
twice.
yeah.
But this is one that
You
they've
should-
got to do.
You should be keeping records of, I run the code department in Beaver Falls also,
Right.
so, but you need to maintain records. You gotta maintain records of any building permits for the life of that building. That's why you should have something coming back from them, that permit has been, approved or denied, to keep with your records.
Yeah, because they just did that sporting thing, that sports
Yes,
center.
yeah.
I got
You don't-
nothing.
Yeah, oh no, you need to keep,
Yeah, you need to
by
contact
law,
Code
by
System.
the Pennsylvania, building code, you have to maintain records of that.
Yeah. and
For the
it's-
life of the building.
So I got to get a hold of them and find
Yeah.
out.
And that's simply why we charge, I mean, we charge the fee of the permit. We also, they have to write two checks, one to, we have the MDIA, so they write a check to MDIA, then they write a check to the city. But yes, we charge 1% of the total cost, because there's a lot of stuff that we have to do on our end, and that covers our expenses and stuff. But one of the big things is maintaining the records. That's pretty.
And to compound this, so council passed resolutions in 2005, 05 and 06, with the fee structures calling for a percentage per square foot. Chris Lemon just made that up, I reckon, that $60. That went against what was on the book, so I don't know what the question would, the legal question would be, is if you have a resolution on books saying you have to charge XYZ, and it's now all on the schedule of fees on the website, do you ignore that? Do you have
That's a Joe
discretion?
Well,
I don't know.
and I'll be honest with you, because I have his old book, there isn't anything in it. So either he didn't have it, whatever these are, because I know I asked Pat many a times if stuff is missing, and she was like, I don't have any of that. So wherever these things are at, I don't know where these documents are. So if I don't have it to look at it, and they do exist,
If you go,
it would,
so I spent some time recently trying to find every ordinance I had, asked for ordinances from Pat, she sent me some, Jenna sent me some stuff, and also resolutions. And that's where I found these resolutions. If I had a paper copy, I put PDF'd them, and so if you go to the website, you'll see a whole section of searchable, rankable
Right.
ordinances, and then a whole section for resolutions.
right.
These two resolutions are there with the schedule of fees. I'm just surprised no one knew about this.
No, because I've never seen those ones. I've seen you put quite a few of them on there, but, you know,
Yeah, so,
this is like where you go, so that way you can actually, you know, I mean, if I had a copy of it, or then I'll stick it in here and,
well,
can actually enforce it.
You got whatever I have, what I know of, and I asked Jenna to work with me
Okay.
on whatever she finds. And that's another SOG we're working on, is updating the borough code book, ordinance book,
Sorry
right?
about that.
Right.
That.
which everybody should have a printed copy of it, not just, you know, the lovely stupid internet that you have to like look at this size. I'm not totally trying to bitch, but.
So Kevin, you put the fees on there then that I should be charging?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I guess you
I didn't
figure
know
out
you
how,
put it
how
on
you
yet.
do it. The question I'm raising is, if it's on the books, you do pass resolution setting these fees, you know, are they still valid? What do you do with it? Do you have discretion? You know, like this case, this is gonna deal with this woman's deck, right? What do you do right now, given that this is on the books? Do you ignore it? Joe might be able to give you legal advice on that, but you know, you have to treat everybody fairly,
Right.
right, consistently.
I gotta go by what's on the books right
Yeah,
now.
right.
But there's nothing on the books about going through MD or
Well,
CODESYS.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe it is.
Maybe that's a resolution
it's-
somewhere.
Maybe it's in your pages that you put on here that I haven't seen.
Yeah, I've never seen a code sys mentioned. Maybe you have it in your
I
stack.
did see code sys in there. I did see.
In a
that-
resolution?
No, in the ordinances. I did see them
Oh, you
listed
did?
somewhere.
Yeah,
But-
they are listed somewhere.
They're listed. It definitely says to use code sys somewhere in here.
Yeah, we know we're supposed to use CODESYS, but
It's just. I'd have to go back hunting.
Everyone complains about bureaucracy, but this is what makes things run, right? It's just the fact that organizations run on bureaucracy, and the Herculean task of administrating bureaucracy is tedious and crazy. But this is, you see where
But
it gets.
it's gone too long without
It's gone too long.
updating,
Yeah.
and now we're tasked
looking at
with
3 years and
fixing it.
Right.
So at this point, I have to have an answer for this lady.
What's she asking for?
We gave her a permit for $60, but it's got to go to code sis. I'm going to call code sis.
Well, I mean, here's
that's
the
where
thing.
you gotta go.
He's got the papers, I just have to print them out and actually read them. And,
Yeah, but you're telling her you didn't have the information that was 90 feet in the air,
9 feet up.
90 feet up, then that you have to now refer that to code system,
Yeah.
either refund her money and then start all over.
Well, we could still charge for our permit,
Yeah.
but she's got
but
to
then
deal
she
with
still
them.
would have to deal with
Yes.
them, and if it does say somewhere that it has to be 1%,
And I'll get a hold of
Then
them and find out why
we
I'm
just
not
have to let them
getting
know that they're-
why I'm
pay
not
us
getting
1%
paperwork for
what it
them.
is.
And okay,
Alright.
you know what? Let's go back. I skipped over
Yeah,
Jason. My mistake here.
The only thing I
Sorry,
wanted to bring
Jason.
up was basically get a listing of stuff that you guys wanted to get for the waste disposal people, so I could talk to them and start getting the bids.
We have to talk about that. How we want to do? Do we want unlimited again? Do we want? Which I don't know that that's.
That's future discussion
Yeah.
for
I
sure.
was gonna say, let's
Yeah,
just
let's
put it
start on it
on the
early.
work session.
You wanna-
Yeah, let's do the work session
And
first.
I'll talk about it now. Put it
Okay.
on the work session for next
Yeah,
month.
we'll put that on work
Okay.
session.
Well,
Thank you. Is there anything else?
that was it.
All right. Sorry again.
Resignation.
Um.
Are you tendering? You already gave it? Okay.
It's right there.
Okay.
Well, Jason, we're sorry you're done.
Good riddance, Jason.
I know.
We'll see you around, buddy.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Well, Bill, you may need to reconsider.
Huh?
You need to reconsider
I need to reconsider what?
staying.
I didn't even know he was even tell me he was gonna do that.
Okay, so I'm gonna need a motion to appoint Justin and Candace to vacant seats.
I'll second that motion.
We made it?
Yeah, second, third, fifth, whatever you want.
All in favor?
Uh-huh.
All's left. Opposed? Okay, I will get a hold of Candace. Kevin, you wanna get a hold of Justin?
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay, I'll make
Tell
the
him be
motion.
here next month.
Make the motion to move the meetings to
Well,
Wednesday.
we're
Oh, yeah.
moving them to Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, which Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Second Wednesday of the month, right?
No.
And the council session will be the first, because that's what we have in the resolution. If we
What's
wanna
that?
change that, we'll figure it out. The council
Wednesday,
session,
May 8th.
the council,
Sorry.
it's okay. The council session, or the work session is the first Wednesday of the month. The council meeting will be on the second Wednesday. If-
4th and the 11th.
Okay, so first two Wednesdays of the month are taken.
Yes.
Okay. I need a motion for,
It's already done. We already did.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's right,
We
okay,
already did that.
all right.
Oh, wait, I'm lost now.
First Wednesday, second Wednesday. That's when we're
The
gonna
first
be
Wednesday
here.
is the work session, the second Wednesday is the meeting.
Council meeting.
Yeah.
Which was
Okay,
already
any
agreed
questions
on
about
last
that?
meeting.
Okay, one more thing. I got a call yesterday from some people named Chris Jeffrey. Supposedly, back in let's see here, June 8th of 21, some playground equipment was ordered.
From here?
I got some, I said, send me some information. I said, I can't go by what you're telling me. And we sent the bill out, didn't get paid. Then we sent it out in 22 and it didn't get paid. Then we sent it out in 23 and it didn't get paid. I'm like, all right, send me information. I need to know what.
Send me a copy of the.
Well, he emailed me today. And let's see, this came from Monica. Sounds great, Mr. Jeffrey. Can we ship them to 4307 West 4th Avenue, Beaver Falls? And a phone number. Thank you, Monica Sepp. Then he says, hi, Monica. I will get these ordered for you. Just let me know the ship to address and contact phone number. We will send you the invoice when the material ships. So then it says, good afternoon, Mr. Jeffrey. I would like to place an order for the following playground items for West Mayfield Borough. Volleyball net, 2 basketball nets, 6 swing seats, and 2 baby swing seats. Is this ringing a bell? You're the only, were you on in 21?
No.
Nope, 22.
Bill?
I was the only one. I think it was here. Were you still here then? Was that your, before you left?
No, I was gone for...
I remember something going on. I don't remember whether it was ever ordered.
Well, this says a volleyball net at $161.
Contact her.
2 basketball nets at $10. The swing seats, 6 regular
Flat.
seats, $300. $319 for 2 baby infant suites. He put that in pen. Everything else was typed. So this doesn't make any sense because it has UPS total 506, and then he put in with a pen 2 infant seats, and then changed the total to 825. That is all I got from him.
And there's no
Well, when was that
seats
date?
down there that are flat.
June of 21.
They're all
Jenna,
curved.
Well, it's not saying flat, it's just saying seats.
Yeah, but
can you
here's
go
the,
back in the minutes from June of 21 and in that area, maybe, and see if there's any mention of any of this stuff?
wouldn't the UPS have a signature?
Well, they haven't
always
delivered it.
get
I'm
signatures.
just, I'm just
Stuff on the network.
this guy just typed this up and
No, I know, but I'm just saying, I mean, they should have a signature from the delivery.
Sounds like a scam.
you would think.
I don't think we got it.
That sounds like a scam.
I thought he was saying
Well,
he got
I
it
told
there
him, I
and
said,
shipped
I
it.
want to know what seats. I don't remember seeing a new volleyball net go up.
No.
I don't remember seeing new. Do we have babies or infant seats down there?
Yeah, we used to. We used to
Are
have
they
a little
newer
half round.
or old?
They all look the same.
Yeah, there's, no, that sounds
Like
like
I said,
someone's
you can look
trying.
and find out where it's at in the minutes to see if there's any discussion. Did he say he shipped them already?
Yeah.
In 21.
Well, he should be able to get a hold of UPS and off
He
his
should get a tracking number
number
and delivery number.
and get the delivery.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell him he didn't give me enough information. Especially, I mean, look at this. He wrote stuff in pen for added the baby
It
seats.
sounds like someone's trying to get.
Why would you only send it out once a year? Send
What
a bill
happens if we
out.
don't pay it?
It's not, I don't
They
think.
come repossess the seats.
I mean, I asked him. I said, I want to know what seats you sent, so I can go to the park and actually look to see if we have.
Listen,
that.
if Pat got an invoice, she was going to pay it.
Yes.
100%.
Right, but where did they send the invoice? To 43. What was that address?
Bill and Monica's house.
That's their house address.
Why would
It
they
sounds
send
like
it?
you need to pass that information on to Monica.
I asked Monica. Oh, I don't remember back
Let her
then.
pay for it.
Well, it comes
She
here-
says I've been
Okay,
gone
we're
for a
out.
few years. I don't remember that.
That's their house.
That's something else to look up,
That's their house.
Is it?
if that bill was paid.
It's a scam.
Is there a way to find out if that?
Yeah.
There'd be a check written
If
out.
there's
Who was
a-
it for?
yeah, just-
This
what was
is
the name?
Pete Jeffrey.
Is there a company? Nothing?
No, there's no name on no,
I think this is real.
no company.
Well,
I think somebody's trying to scam somebody.
Well, that's what it looks like, but I had to bring it up.
Absolutely.
Correspondence, yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna pay it until we get more information. I mean, if we got the stuff and we didn't pay them, we owe them. But
Yeah.
But if we had, where would it, I mean, where is it, you know?
it's not in the budget. I'm sorry. Tell them it's not in the budget.
but if Jeff would ever answer his phone, I could ask him because he would have been the one that would have.
He would have been the official installer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyways, I'll research that some more.
Jenna,
Joe's
thanks
not
for
here.
buying pens and that. You know, we
Oh,
love
thanks, Jenna. You're the best.
Lisa, you got anything under new?
No, I have nothing. Thank you, Jenna.
I'm gonna leave this here.
That's nice pens you have there.
Okay, we need to pay the bill. We need a motion and a roll call now?
Just
motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
second.
All in favor?
Uh-huh.
Opposed? Ratify purchases made by committees. Need a motion?
Motion.
Got a second.
All in favor?
Uh-huh.
Opposed? Any other business?
Does anybody else need to talk?
Does anyone else need any
Any
comments?
comments?
They're doing it. Make a motion to adjourn.
Well, Bill made a motion to adjourn. I think he's ready to go. Second. All in favor?
Uh-huh.
I'm not even gonna ask if anybody opposes that. All right. Thank you, everybody.
For me?